People bawling their eyes out over a traumatic experience but who can still manage to film themselves doing so and then post it instantly lose credibility with whatever it is they are going through. If you want to make people aware of what you are going through, that's totally fine. No issues with that whatsoever, but before doing that, get over your crying fit. Gather your thoughts, and then make your video and post it afterwards. Doing so while literally in the middle of a crying episode just makes you instantly lose credibility, no matter how bad or traumatic or life-altering your experience might have been. There is simply no need for somebody to film themselves in the middle of that other than to get attention for it. In some of these videos I've seen, you even have to wonder if somebody would actually be crying over it if they didn't have the ability to film themselves doing it. And I hate that you can't really call somebody out on it either without somebody else lambasting you as being insensitive or not understanding of a particular issue. You might say, oh, this is a popular opinion. But it isn't, because why are videos like these blowing up almost every day? Oh, like the Jeffree Star crying video on Insta where he tells you to swipe up to see the full video about his breakup. This reminds me of the parents who film their kids crying over bullying and shit then posting it all over the internet for millions of people to see. I just comes off so not genuine and fucking gross when a parent's first instinct is to record their traumatized child rather than give them comfort and encouragement. It's one thing been filmed without your knowledge, which is rare these days when it comes to non-porn related viral vids, but if you film yourself for sympathy points then you can truly lick the shit of my arse, cause that's what I think of you. Context is key here. If your wife has ALS and you're trying to raise awareness and money for the cause, then crying, genuinely, doesn't lose any credibility because you really are feeling pain and you want others to know how much you're hurting. Thumbs up, this is as bad as those guys helping people with money and stuff while filming themselves. When I was about 20, my ex got into a car crash and died. We had broken up several years prior, but we had all the same friends, moved to the same city, went to the same school. We were still super close is my point. When she died, it was devastating for everyone in our friend group. A bunch of us had all gone to high school and knew her older brothers. The funeral was huge and everyone came back to our hometown to show support. But when I saw the selfies her eldest brother posted of himself crying in the mirror, talking about it, I damn near lost my mind. It was the grossest way I could imagine to process that loss. We were all grieving, and obviously his pain was very real, but when your grief process includes a well-lit slideshow of you crying, with like, one picture of your dead loved one? I just can't imagine the level of narcissism it takes to make your sister's death about yourself. I'm right there with you on this, op. In some instances, individuals only accept something is wrong internally when they are having an episode. I used to suffer from depression, and the only times I ever thought about reaching out was when I was having a breakdown. Any other time, and I was in denial. And for some people, they just don't know who to reach out to, so they just put it out there in hopes someone will help them. This is just my 2 cents. Also, I know there are cases where it's only for attention, but why should that matter if there's a chance they could be suffering? Yeah, it depends on the context, but usually most trauma survivors do a hell of a job simply holding it together and concealing their emotions. Some don't, because trauma is a bitch, but my parents didn't even realize how bad I was until I purposely let them see me having a flashback instead of hiding in my room and having it privately and pretending everything's fine. Sometimes you have to create awareness by showing the reality of the illness. That said, I don't think anyone in a traumatized state would be able to take the time to turn on a camera and vlog about it. It would certainly be a hell of a challenge. I agree it's obnoxious, but for some people this may be a way of coping to share their feelings and get it all out. I fully agree, I have no sympathy for these people, but many do. I have seen some people who ended up crying on camera but clearly edited it out and continued talking when they calmed down. I respect that. It's like when YouTubers with a couple million subscribers film themselves crying over having a miscarriage or stillbirth of a pregnancy. They know they'll get more pity views BC of TB clickbait nature of the topic. I have seen people post videos of manic episodes and I find it very informative and unfortunately relatable. I think there are two sides to everything. Like the people who post their good deeds, think the trash movement. Life isn't black and white. Totally agree. You could have just posted, crocodile tears rob you of credibility. Is this in a response to seeing nurses and doctors film themselves during the COVID-19 crisis? If so, I would really have to strongly disagree. People such them who are first-hand witnesses, and caregivers, to a serious event are feeling overwhelming emotion. They are in an impassioned state and want others to know the weight of what's happening. As all things, we should take their records and accounts with a grain of salt, but I don't think it loses their credibility. This flashbacks to the girl who filmed her dead sister after she got them into a car accident because she was filming herself. Absolutely fucking detached. Well, yeah. It's like filming something while drunk. You're not exactly thinking straight. I agree here, same with recording people hurting themselves or after they hurt themselves. Fucking help them get off your phone. I'm literally crying and shaking while typing this same thing, just doing it for attention and effect to look more like a victim. I think a huge problem with this mindset is that you assume you are rational when something like that happens. We see it time and time again where people become convinced of X because so and so didn't react the way they should. Yes, some reactions are obvious, Menendez brothers instantly buying expensive gifts with the inheritance money, but grief/trauma/ and shock do not operate under any normal set of circumstances, they don't follow some set guideline. I wish I could find that photo, or maybe video, of the girl who in a completely totaled car, next to her, not there anymore, dead friend and is on her phone casually. Something tells me this was just autopilot at a certain point, and the more that technology becomes ingrained in our everyday lives, the more you will see this. People function in different ways. Everyone is not the same. Be suspect, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, even if you're not crying, you're still literally bringing attention to whatever's going on. I see zero difference.